you will rejoice and be glad. Wherever you are, online and on site, I want you to be on your feet and let us acknowledge our God. He's been faithful, He's been good, He's been kind, He's been awesome. There's no one like Him. No one can compare. He's the King of Kings, Lord of Lords, Ancient of Days. I am that I am, omnipotent God, all powerful, the great I am, Lady of the Valley, Rose of Sharon. You're amazing, you're excellent, you're beautiful for all situations. No one like you, no one like you. You're not a man, no. You're not a man, no. You're the God who opens doors no man can shut. You're not a man, no. You're not a man, no. You're the God of everything, no one like you. No one like you, Jesus. No one like you. No one like you. There's no one like you. No one like you, Master. No one like you. I live world. You're the God of everything. No one like you. No one like you, Jesus. No one like you. No one like you, Father. No one like you. No one like you, listen. No one like you, Abba Father. You're the God of everything. No one like. Say you're not a man. You're not a man. No. You're not a man. No. You're the one who opens doors no man can shut. You're not a man, you're not a man. You are the God, you're the God of everything. No one like you, no one like you, no one like you, Jesus. No one like you, no one like you, no one like you, Master. No one like you. No one like you, I say, no one like you, I never know. You're the God of everything, no one, you're the God of everything. No one like you, you're the God, you're the God, you're the God, you're the God of everything. No one like you, the God of heaven and earth. Angels bow before you. You're the God of everything. No one like you, the God, you're the God, you're the God, you're the God, you're the God of everything. No one. You rule and reign in the affairs of man. You're the God, you're the God of everything. No one. You're God in the mountain. You sing God in the valley, Lord. You're the God of everything. No one. You are God in good times. You are God in the bad times. You're the God of everything. No one. You are God in the morning and the night. Every moment, Lord. You're the God of everything. No one. Heaven and earth adore you. Angels bow before you. You're the God of everything. No one, your name is great. You are great to be praised, God. You're the God of everything. No one like you. It's you that I see. It's you that I see. No matter the circumstance around me, hey, I center on you. It's you that I see. It's you that I see. Hey, hey, hey. There is power in your name. Oh, miracles happen. Miracles happen in your name. Oh, so lift a voice and pray. So lift a voice and pray. It's you, Jesus. It's only you, Jesus. Hey. Hey, there's a voice say I'm the center of it. I see you, Jesus. Seated at the right hand of God, Father. Hey, 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 no one like you at the center. At the center of it. I see only you, Jesus. Turning things around for my good. Hey, hey, lift the voice, say there is power. There is power in your name. Hey, miracles happen in your name. Hey, as we lift our voices, as we lift our voice and praise, we see Jesus that I see. Only you, Jesus. Lift your voice one more time. Say there is power. There is power in your name. At the mention of your name, every knee must bow. Say, miracles happen in your name. Hey, as we lift the voices, as we lift the voice, it's you, Jesus. It's you that I see. Only you, Jesus. One more time. Lift your hand, lift your voice, say, there is power. Hey, yes, Lord. Hey, miracles happen. Power in your name. Hey, I lift the voices. I lift the voice. It's only you, Jesus. Only Jesus. Hey, say, you are bigger, bigger than the biggest. You are strong, stronger than the strongest. You are higher, higher than the highest. You are great, greater than the greatest. Lord, you are bigger, bigger than the biggest. Hey, you are stronger, stronger than the strongest. Why? Higher than you are greater, you are greater, greater. See, you are big, bigger. Yes, Lord, you're stronger, you are higher. Hey, you're the greatest. One more time, say you are big, bigger. You are bigger, bigger than you are stronger. Yeah, you are higher. You're great. Somebody call him Jesus. Say Jesus, Jesus. Call the name Jesus. Call him over your circumstance. The name of the Lord is from tower. Jesus. praise, give the glory. Bless the name of Jesus. Exalt this place tonight. Celebrate God. You alone are worthy, Lord. You alone are worthy, Lord. You alone deserve the praise, God. We exalt you. Come on, wave your hands to Jesus and say you are mighty. Wave your hands and say thank you, Lord. Wave your hands and say thank you, Lord. Wave your hands and say thank you, Lord. You are worthy. You are worthy. You are worthy. Hallelujah. You are great, yes, you are. Holy God. Hey, you are upon the sea. You raise the dead. You reign in majesty. Mighty God. Everything around you. You holy God. You walk upon the sea. Hey, Lord, you reign in majesty. Everything we say, everything around you. One more time, say you are great, say you are great, yes, you are. Holy God, you walk upon the sea. Hey, Lord, you reign in majesty. Mighty God, everything around you. Hey, you are great. That's who you are. Lift your voice and say, I call you Jesus. Jesus, Jesus. Waymaker. Hey, miracle walking Jesus. Say, I call you Jesus. Glory to the name. Hey, say, deliverance is the name. Hey, that's who you are. I call you Master. I call you Master. Master, Master. Master of the universe. And the principalities of God. Say, I call you Savior. I call you Savior. Savior, Savior, Savior. Savior, Savior, Savior. You are God from beginning to the end. There's no place or argument. You are God all by yourself. Oh, you are God from beginning to the end. There's no place or argument, no controversy. You are God all by yourself. You got times and seasons in your hand. You call for light, hey! You call for light out of darkness. You don't want to control any message, message. You don't want any permission to bless you, to lift you, to elevate you. Hey! You are chosen to follow me. Lift your voice and say, you will die. No argument. You will come out by yourself. You will never elected. You will die from the beginning. Lord, your kingdom is forever lasting, forever lasting. You will die. What am I saying? You will your name high, be exalted, Father. Be lifted up, Father. Thank you, Holy Spirit. Tonight we call upon you again to be the Lord and Master of all. Let our hearts yearn for you, and let the words that we hear tonight be fire in our spirits. Turn us into a new being. That our experience of you will never be the same. Thank you for bringing your egos together. And Father, as they live there, they take flights. Flights for increase. Flights for promotion. Flights for testimony. So shall it be. Just continue to pray. You see that I always say, please move forward, please move forward. Don't stay behind. And let's move forward. Don't be afraid. Okay. Don't be afraid. I think I'll become a pastor too, so just come forward. I'm sure you were a pastor. Hallelujah. Give the glory. Yeah. Tonight, we just want to continue from where we stopped last week. I hope this is not giving an echo. Can you hear me very well? Yes. Okay, so we're talking about focus on the way you minister to God or how you serve God. It's about how you serve God. And if you remember last week, we defined ministry as the function of a priest. When you say ministry, it means that you are serving in the function of a priest. So, in the old time, the priests are the ones to serve God. But nowadays, Bible says we are kings and priests. So you are now in that position as a priest. So when you say that you are in ministry, you are serving God, what you mean that you are giving spiritual sacrifices to God. Spiritual sacrifices to God. You remember I closed with that last week about that gentleman that had lost a job for 2 years. I think I repeated on Sunday. I lost a job for 2 years and it became embarrassing that he couldn't go to their church anymore because it was a wife that was more or less paying the transport. It became a big deal. So he started coming to the nearest church. And the nearest church was our church. And he was there for quite a while. But rather than just sitting down and then coming to church and going out, he decided to become, a steward, to become a steward. And he chose to come on Saturdays to come and clean the church. So he would join the women and he would clean the church. And because while quite a sizable crowd at the demo, so I wouldn't assumed that he was a member of the church for a long time. So I just thought, it was one of his apartments and things like that. And so one day I just went to church and said, I'm seeing him, and I saw him last Saturday, and the people just asked me to go to him, and I went to him. And I asked him, where's your wife? And he said, well, I did not come to church. And I said, I think I have a message from both of you. Whatever it is, just persuade her to be in church tomorrow. And they came and saw me. And one of them just said, look, I'll leave you guys in my office, just up to do what you want. And when I come back, I'm just going to agree with you. Also, he did, came back and I flew with them. And I said, whatever you guys have agreed, because I hear that there was a season of reward that's come from you. Of course, it didn't take 5 or 6 weeks to get the job. And got the job in Ghana 6 times more than whatever I was earning 2 years earlier. Now, what that reward was that God saw it as a spiritual sacrifice. It might be a physical work, but from God, it was a spiritual sacrifice that was acceptable to Him. So, like I always told you that no matter how many times I told you, God bless you, the owner of that blessing is God. So He has a discretion. The Bible says God is not mocked. Whatsoever a man sows is not reap. So let me shout and break my head shouting, you are blessed, and I'm shouting amen. You are blessed. God has blessed you. If God does not sanction your amen,
It does not matter to anything. Nothing comes out of it. And that's why it has always been those who know their God, not those who know their pastor, not those who know their church, but those who know their God shall be strong and they will do exploits. So ministry means any activity by we Christians which furthers the work and purpose of Jesus Christ. He came to save the world, he came to save mankind. So anything you are doing to help that work, you might be just cleaning the toilet. But as long as those who come to that toilet are able to use the toilet because they come to serve God, then it is a furtherance of the work of God. It might be just keeping the house of God. It might be just, even just sharing the pastor. One of us, send a message of, appreciation today. And, I know it was a deeply appreciated thing because sometimes, also know that we pastors also have our own apprehension, our own concerns, our own, downtimes and whatever. So even if it's a ministry of encouragement, it's important, it's a ministry. It's a ministry. And some of us, the ministry of us greeting people and making people feel loved, warm, is a ministry. If people just, I know that even when I come to church today, if nobody smiles at me, this guy will smile, or this sister will smile at me. And I there are some dresses that when I was leaving home, I would have thought that that dress was not too comfortable on me, was not too good on me, rather I was just feeling one kind. And I just went, wow, I love this dress. And remember, when the next time you're wearing that dress, what are you remembering? You are remembering that comment, you are remembering that feel good that somebody gave you. It's a ministry, and that is how are you making it happen? It's an activity carried on to express faith. It's an activity that you carry on to express faith or to spread the faith in God. This way, we are expressing faith. I never knew, one of the things that over time I realized about myself, like, people, I'm very, very, very serious. I'm very, very, very serious. I'm very, very hard working. But at the same time, I'm very, very hilarious, laughing and whatever, whatever, whatever. And I remember one time, when I was in school, I took a break because my first started my school, my university at Lorry, then I moved to Ife. So I took a break from Lagos to Lorry, and I found that my money had been stolen by somebody. And so when I got to school, I was so sad and so sad. And so for some days or weeks, I was just wondering, am I going to cope because I couldn't go back home to go and ask for money again. And then I just remember my friend, I still remember he just came to us here. He said to me, they're not laughing, they're not smiling. You always know that when we see you, there will be a joke coming from your mouth or something that comes from your mouth that makes us to just be happy one way. So what is happening? And that was just I'm sorry, I never even knew that it has gotten to me to that extent. None of us all know that small things can be a ministry, big things can be a ministry, small things can be. But you see, what we're talking about, as long as it is used to further the spread of the gospel, further the spread of the gospel, it's something that you have to understand that it's effort, it's a ministry of some sort. And so, having done that, the question is now we're asking ourselves that how then are you using that ministry? How then are you using the ministry? And if you remember last week, we spoke of the attitude, that Jesus gave to his own ministry. He came to save the lost. So, but he had an attitude that he gave, and one of the attributes of this attitude was humility. He didn't consider himself above God. Even though he was, in the Bible says he was equal in that sense, but in that sense, he just lowered himself. He made sure that his attitude was like, look, it's a work. And that means for um, many of us, uh, we don't even understand how God works. Um, you know, I remember one time in school, I cracked up my friends. I cracked them so up that one of them started having um, um, tummy ache. In fact, it was, they all just rolled on the ground. I have forgotten what I told them, but I remember all of them just, and one of them just started holding this. Said to me, I'm serious, I'm very serious. And, I'm so much. Then I remember two ladies. One time, one of my friends too, but they were the class higher than me, and I was in part two, part three, or part one, or part two. And, because they've had that hour at that one, this lady came and said, um, um, the clown. He said, that word clown just did bring in my head. How can you call me clown? And because of that, I just shrunk into myself. It was later in life I just asked myself, because I knew Alibaba, this I say Alibaba, there was a time belonged to one organization that Alibaba was angry to come and I belong to. So Alibaba will come and angry to become. In fact, many of them, Kenny Black, there's one guy that Onimara, all of them. I just went, what if it was a ministry that God gave me? I didn't understand. But but I'm just trying to give you the example of some of us who look down, but we are too high up there to see what God has been in our hand. Which is that Jesus will wash the feet of the servants. How many of us can really wash the feet of our servants? How many? They learned some years ago after service, and for some who knew them, because of the drama team in Maryland, I started it. I was heading the drama team, no time then there was a suspension. Then there was a time when there was no drama team. It was probably come on and said, go and start again. So I started it. So what you see, all of the people, Sean, Akibaloye, all of them were people that more or less. And I remember one day when we were in Maryland, we were making a meeting after the church, after the service, and we stood there. And there was this woman that was his own contribution, our own contribution. The women then, some of them just said to sweep in the church. Instead of coming on Saturdays, come and sweep. We sweep after the service. So this woman was sweeping, and I remember her, she has a teen voice, and I could hear her faintly telling us that she excused that she wanted to sweep. Well, I was so engrossed in the meeting, it was a standing meeting, that I hardly paid attention to what she was saying. But out of frustration that she had told us, we did not move. So she just kept on sweeping, just kept on sweeping. And some of my members felt insulted. I felt, did you see him? If you don't respect us, did you see him? And I just leave that. I think she told us, and I think I forgot. I think we began with that. So after the person was there, so it was almost like whatever. And I said, just let her, let's move. She's sleeping, she's walking, let's move. So we were, someone said, that we are very good. You should calm down. There's no need for that. So she was talking so plainly, barely audible. And what I did, my face like that. Just about 3 or 4 weeks after she gave birth. That means that she was using her strength. It was like a sacrifice. A sacrifice, a ministry that I have to commit myself to, regardless of the way I was feeling. So apparently she was irritated, she had to do it, but but here you are feeling like you are better than her because she was sleeping. So, and Christ said, look, I do not consider myself. That's the essence of it. People will talk down to you. They will talk down to you. They will make you feel. I've seen it a lot. I've seen it a lot when that have been tested. I didn't ask to be a pastor, but he became a pastor because of the reason of the conviction of the call. Then you see a lot of people, insulting you, and then they're just like, Father, Father. But that's what the Bible says. Humble yourself, and God will lift you up. And that's what Christ was saying. Check your attitude. When it comes to ministry, check your attitude. Check what you do. Are you humble? Are you, do you understand that Christ laid aside his divinity and became human so that you and I can have an access? The Bible says we don't have an high priest that does not understand our pains. So he became who we are so that we could be like us. And so he made himself of no reputation. So he took on the form of a servant. And that's ministry. That's ministry. He took on the form of a servant. Christ was made in the likeness of human beings. So that, you have to understand that he decided to resemble us. So that he can feel us very well. So please, in summary of that understand very well so, understand the essence of ministry, understand how to serve God with an attitude that is pleasing to God, an attitude that God Himself will say, this one is mindful of making it God. I told you so many times about the story of my friends, how we played and law school exam came, and then we were going to exam, everybody was like praying and praying. I remember that story, and then my friends, I just picked a tape from my friend's car, and I got it in, and the song started saying, how do you treat God? How do you treat God? Like a G-O-D or D-O-G. My friend just said, why today, of all days, do you have to play music like this? I said, the tape is in your car. I didn't know it was there. It's just like God telling us that you people think you are smart. You have played all this while, now you are praying to me. Like, as if I just come and help us. And these are the things that you have to ask yourself. Are you able to treat God like God with your attitude? That's ministry. Are you able to walk to God with the sense of, this is about you, not about me? Are you able to take insult to yourself when you go for evangelism? Nobody likes to hear no. Nobody likes to hear that no. Nobody likes to hear. But you see, Bible says he made himself of no reputation. So your no becomes like yes. Because see, Paul planted, Apollos watered, God gives increase. There's a book called Tipping Point. Tipping Point. It talks about, you have been doing so many things, but there's a time when that thing, for instance, if I am shooting this, I'm shooting this, I'm shooting this, I'm shooting this, I'm shooting this, there will be the last shoot that will tip this thing now. Sometimes it's like that for gospel. You spoke, I spoke, you spoke, I spoke. Then there will just be one day when the last person will speak, and then and there will be conviction. But God will count all of us that have spoken, that have done that work to that time. God will count it as our reward. But you say, I don't want to, no. I don't want that to go. Because why? You look at yourself as you are better than them, so that if they tell you no, it will hurt your ego. It will hurt you. And that's why this becomes difficult. You always think, I don't want to hear no. I don't want to hear no. But you can go and apply for a job, and they tell you, come back another time. You can go and apply, they tell you, come back. But you see, you don't want to hear no from God. But God, Bible says God is not mocked. It's an attitude. And you have to check. How are you doing it? How are you walking from God? You find it a lot. People come around to church. It's almost like, no. I see, I'm better than this. They want the best of chairs. I keep saying that sometimes. Maybe that's one reason that Christianity seems to be losing essence. Because, maybe because of sickness of, say, worry, sick. That was why. You remember the time when Babangida was president, for those 7 or so years he spent, anytime I went to mosque, where did he sit? Where did he sit? On the floor, on the floor, on the floor. There was no special seat. He would sit with everybody on the floor, and there was no space between them. They would sit next to each other. Why? Because there's a sense of look. It's about humility before God. So what? But someone come to church and say, look, the chairs are not good enough. The AC is not good enough. Therefore, we ask you, God, what are you talking about? You are vaunting yourself beyond the purpose and nature of God. This is not good enough. The chairs are not fine. They are all whatever. And this is an attitude that some of us don't know that has kept each other. The way we worship, the way we say. So like the music, the music is sweet there. Why? Because you want that music to suit your soul. You can't even talk about your own song to God. When do I how do I sing? Can I have no opportunity? Can there be a time when all these things are put down and then I'm able to swallow my voice to God? It might not be sonorous. It might not be sonorous. And it's not about how sonorous, because I have someone that is singing sonorously and singing from the pit of hell. So today, I want to go to the second dimension of that issue of how do you minister to God. Today we're talking about the instruction of Christ. So there are two elements. We talk about number one, ministry to God, about the aspect of attitude of Christ, and now the express instruction of Christ. Let's go to Matthew. The book of Matthew 25, verse 14 to 29. Matthew 25. Matthew 25. I'm sure we're going to get better screen. Okay, let's go. Matthew 25. Matthew 25. Can we read 14 to 29? We read it last week. Okay, let's go there. Matthew 25. Hallelujah. Okay. For the kingdom of heaven, I want you to hear it very well. There's a man traveling out to a far country who called his own servants and delivered unto them his goods. Go on. And unto one he gave 5 talents, to another 2, and to another one. But to every man according to his several ability. And straightway he took his journey. And unto then he that had received 5 went and traded it with the same and made other 5 talents. And likewise he that had received 2, he also gained other 2. So he had two more. But he that had 1 went and digged the earth and hid his Lord's money. After a long time, whether you call it long or short, whether you say I'm going to live 100 years or 120 years, after everything you're going to go. Is that you go by way of rapture, Christ comes before your time, or eventually you die. There is no escape. Nobody leaves this earth alive. Is that you live alive with God, pure. But you remember that time, Bible says that your spirit man that will go, that your body, your flesh shall remain. So your body actually will die. There's no way. It's just your spirit will be caught up in the twinkle of an eye, and boom, with Christ. But your body, I said the dead, those who are dead in Christ will also rise. So what body are they going to carry? Nobody, is just their spirit that will just move. And so he said, after a long time, the Lord of those servants returned and reckoned with them. He asked them, come on, let me see what you have done. And then, so he that had received 5 talents came, brought other 5, saying, Lord, thou deliverest unto me 5. behold, I've gained beside them far more. Go ahead. And his Lord said unto him, well done, thou good and faithful servant. Thou art been faithful over a few things. I will make thee ruler over many things. And it says, enter because of what you have done, the joy of the Lord. I will make you ruler over many things. You see that the same two came and said also, Lord, give me two, and I've gained another two beside them. Now go ahead. So what they say, he said, I told them, okay, you two, well done, good and faithful servants. You have been faithful over a few things, and I'll make you ruler over many things. Enter also into the joy of them. You can see what he said, over a few things, but I'll make you ruler over what? Many things. You have been faithful over the fathers. I gave you just the time to clean, just these things. But I will make you what? Ruler over many things. Now go ahead and see. Then the one that had received 1 talent came and said, Lord, I know that you are a hard man. You are always asking for tithes, for offering, and these pastors, they're always looking good, better than me. I don't have a house, I don't have this, I don't have time, I don't have that. Reaping where God has not sown. I don't know. My father has been serving all this while. There's no gain to it. So why should I serve him? My father go to the club, spend my money, whatever. He said, and he says, gathering where God has not sown, has not stored. Okay, go ahead. Give me. Then I was afraid and I went and hid talent in the earth so that instead of losing this, I just decided to hide this earth. When you come, I'll just give it back. So I lost it too. I didn't lose it. You can see, I kept it for you. This is it, my point. So now, and the next one here is that verse 26, quickly. I said, Lord answered and said unto him, you are wicked and slothful. And I want you to see the word here. You are wicked and you are slothful. And what is sloth? The sloth is a very slow, very lazy, laid back. You're wicked. You're laid back. You're lazy. You don't use your brain. You are not imaginative. You're not creative. You say, well, wicked and slothful. You know that I reap where I sow not and gather where I have not. So you have a lot of reason to blame this, to blame that, to blame that, to blame that. You're wicked. I gave you so much more than what you are saying. But what did you do with it? Now, go to verse 27. It says, Thou oughtest therefore to have put the money to the exchanger. You should not have hidden it. At least do something with it. If I told you just train people, use some. And then my coming, I should have received my own usually. But I've had some more. Take therefore the talent from him and give it to him which had 10 talents. Now 29. Say, for unto everyone that hath shall be given. Everyone that hath shall be given. And he shall have abundance. From him who hath not. If you don't have, what you don't even have will be taken from you away that which you have. Now look at verse 30. He said, when the Son of Man and cast ye the profitable servant into outer darkness, therefore shall be weeping and gnashing of teeth. Now, from there, you can see the instruction that Christ gave us. I'm going to give you about 10 instructions quickly because of time, so I can use that to understand or to undergird your ministry. One thing he said there, that you should also know that the man went and traded it. He gave them every man to opportunities, and he said they went and traded with sin. And they went and traded the two, especially the two, traded with sin. That is, if you look at Matthew 25, verse 16, it means that number one, Christ is saying that we should explore every opportunity to be better in ministry. Write it down. Explore every opportunity to be better in ministry. Exploit every opportunity. You should trade it. You should trade it. You have the time to come and sweep the church. Trade that time for working for God. You have the time to speak to somebody about God. Trade that time. That is the instruction. He said you should ought to have traded it, or you ought to, you ought to have been given to the exchanger. There's something with you that you cannot keep. You cannot just hold it down. You cannot. Some of us, we are the best singers. I was somewhere today, and this woman was singing. Honestly, I'm sure Brother Benga will not want that woman to come here, his mic, for any reason. The woman's voice was singing some worship song. Even me, I was like, this woman's voice is not something else. But there was someone that was helping me to do something who I know that in every sense she has left God. You can see me, but as I'm trying to even speak to come back to God. Guess what? After a while, she started singing. She started singing. And when she started singing, that same song was like an angel was singing. She was singing better, but she was not singing it for God. She was just singing to show that she could be a better singer. And I'm asking myself, what are you then doing here? You have these talents. Some of us are good. We have just 3 people in choir now, or 4 people. Where are the women? Where are the men? The bassist, the one that sings very well. And just you keep it to yourself. And saying here, explore every opportunity to become better in this. Number 2, Matthew 26, verse 16 again. Matthew 2, verse 16. It says, be faithful in what God has given you to do. Show tenacity of purpose. And God gives you something, trade with it. Trading does not mean it's going to be easy. Trade with it. Trade with that ability to persuade, that ability to walk, to sing. For some of us, particularly me, I was raised by a woman, my first sister, who had a knack for not tolerating death. Had a knack, no matter how much you have cleaned the house, when my sister comes in, she will have seen something that was dirty. And she asked, have you cleaned this house? I said, yes. She just go to someone and do like this. What is this? And no, and so and my children know that there's a dispensation that you just must engage. I'm not surprised that my sister where she is now because she's having some organization. I'm not surprised because she will always make sure that she has tenacity of purpose. I'm going to get this done. In fact, she told me one time, told me I like trouble. And I said, why? He said, because trouble allows me to know people, to have opportunity to learn lessons. He said, I like it to, I don't pray for it, but when it comes, I'm not afraid of it. He said, because in trouble, you know what you can do, what you cannot do, and that's part of the experience of life. Tenacity. Just show tenacity. Be faithful with what God has given you to do. That's number 2. Number 3, Matthew 25, verse 21. Matthew 25, you have to prove excellence in your ministry. As Christ was telling them, prove excellence, thou faithful, and thou good and faithful servant. You have to prove excellence. Nobody proves it for you. You have to work it out. And that's why I tell that CKS will love excellence. No matter what we do. And if you enter my office there's an inscription on the wall. If you can't run, If you can't fly, then run. If you can't run, then walk. If you can't walk, then crawl. But no matter what you do, make sure you're moving. Just make sure you're moving. There must be tenacity. That is ministry. That is something that you put a demand on yourself. And that is what he's telling you that, look, it's not about coming to come and show and prove that I've always told you, I have no need to prove. Nothing. Nothing. And by God's grace, miracles are going on. I mean, I have some testimonies that, wow, I'm saying, wow, 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 wow. But you see, I have nothing to prove. Christ only, Christ only, Christ only. The third point, I think I've said it, is to pay attention to details. Pay attention to details. The same Matthew 25, verse 21 talks about, can I give Matthew 25, verse 21? 25, verse 21. Says there, it says, well done, thou faithful, and thou good and faithful servant, thou hast been faithful over few things. Pay attention to details. Say, I will make thee ruler over many things. Pay attention to details. I've told you about as of today, in Nigeria, in Southwest, Pan Atlantic University is the most expensive school. As of today, most expensive university. It doesn't have as much building grandiose as many other schools, but is a costliest. In fact, number 4 in Nigeria. In the Southwest, it is the most in terms of tuition. We're not even spoken about accommodation because you first pay for tuition and you pay for accommodation. But he started with 2 things. Believing in excellence in even little things, such that if you come there, you are saying, wow, it's not big, but I'm impressed with it. And that's how it should be. That's how you should also understand. You become a master of even that little thing in your sphere of influence. You are the best there. So you are paying attention to details. He said, because you have been faithful in little things, I will make you master of many. So, they will say, look, and as of today, despite that it is most expensive, people are still coming over there. Why? Because even the people that is the one that left the school will go and say that our school is not big, but there's quality. That is what you have to understand about ministry. Let it be known that the work you are doing, if it's janitorial, if it's singing, do with a measure of excellence, a measure of understanding that this is not just ordinary. That's what Christ is saying. Thou faithful, thou good and faithful servant. Because you have been good with few, I will make you master of problem. Now, let's go on. The next one is that you have, for everyone, in Matthew 25, verse 29, it says, for everyone that hath shall be given, and the one that, the one that does not have, they will take it, and the one that does not have, they will take it from him. You see, the instruction there, write it down. Never seek to be a settler in ministry. Write it down. Never seek to become a settler. And I mean what I mean by settler. The one that is resting. Don't become a settler in ministry. Always maintain a pioneering role. Write it down. Always maintain a pioneering role. Don't become a settler. I have done this work. I have done this work. Oh, KICC, like you have done this one. No. There's never a time to settle. There's never a time to say that I have swept, I swept last week. And I will not, I don't know whether my sister's here. Like in those days when I was young, they say, you're not taking your back to me. So I took my back yesterday. I did it for yesterday. You can't do that. You understand? You take your back every day. And you see, you can't say because I walked last week. And some of us have a way of putting, and like, oh, yes, God for all the work I've done for you, and you have treated me badly. God is just moving on. What have we done? What will you have done? And that, you see some people that even in the middle of their problem, they won't even see it. Because they know that their presence in that ministry is an encouragement to some people. They are being there. A man called Malachi was going to minister, and then he said his car was in front, and that car was in front, and probably, and then just two cars, the car had to go, and then he had to follow. He got to the river to show that there was an accident. It was the car of that contained his children that had the accident, plunged into the river, and two of the children died. They had to go and put them in mortuary. He went to go and preach, and they still came back and buried the children. He says, I will not curse you, Lord, because the word says all things work together for my good. He says to him, yeah, what is it? He says, don't settle. Don't let comfort make you settle. Don't let comfort make you settle. And don't let pain make you settle. There should have been a pioneering work, an engagement, a constant moving forward. The next one, verse 6. Matthew 25, verse 19. I want to see it. Matthew 25, verse 19. 25, verse 19. Verse 19. Go to verse 19, please for me. 25, verse 19. What does it say? After a long time, Christ is asking us to make yourself accountable, whether you like it or not. There will be a time to account for it. It may look long. Bible says 1,000 years like what? It's like a day before God. So it might look so long, but after a time there will be account. There will be an account. You are going to render account. You are going to render account, whether you like it or not, whether you are not seen, whether you are seen, there will be account. And that's why you don't walk because you want pastor to see you. You don't walk because people want to know you know why you are coming. It's not because of the friendship that you have made there. It's because of God. I want to serve you. I want to be accountable for my time. I want to be accountable for what I'm doing before you. The next one. Matthew chapter 25, verse 15. Next instruction. 25, verse 15. It says, 25, verse 15. And I want you to quickly see that one. Verse 15. Verse 15. And I want to see everybody to see it. It says he gave 5 talents to one. He gave 5 talents to another 2, and to another 1. To every man according to his several ability. And strictly to the job. But there I want to see according to his several ability to everyone. Now, write it down. Focus on what God has given you to do. Don't compare yourself. Resist that temptation to compare yourself to every man according to his ability. Resist that temptation to say, I want to do what that. Some people they think that the way Baby Sister Success sings, I want to be on that, but I like people singing. I like the way she does her hair when she's singing. As one of our Baby Sister Success is not meant to be there, and all she brings is the show. Bible says, I said, depart from me, O ye worker of iniquity, because I know you not. And that's why you have to understand the essence of you can't come. Why should you say pastor is better than me? Or that pastor will say that I'm better than the janitor. No, everyone has their ministry. He says he gave to one according to his several ability. Don't compare. Don't covet. Don't want somebody that, no, face your own work, face your ministry, face your business, face that work. You have a prayer ministry, face it very well. I mean, even as your pastor, I might not know that you're praying for me, but pray it so effectively. So much that God knows that you are sacrificing, you are groaning. If your one is to take care of your pastor, take care of your pastor like he says yes or no. Whether he says thank you or not, take care of his pastors. I mean, about some years ago, when I said that drama team, that was about almost 19 years or so, probably about 15 years ago. Outside that ministry. And so when one Christmas time, this young people, all this my department people in the department in the drama just came together and just come together among them and said, Pratumi, when in this I just Pratumi, we just want to bless you for life, blah blah blah. And he gave me, a hammer. And I was like, when do you want to start? But I said, thank you very much. Anyway, thank you very much for it. So the hamper contains some things, edible things normally, but also contain one belt, black belt. So I just took the belt casually and I started using the belt. But just at the course of time, 6 years going forward, the belt didn't even be there. The belt was actually a real leather belt. 7 years, 8 years. And you know what? Each time I had the belt to put in my bedroom, I remember all of them. They are all books, the Sparks, South Africa, what have you. And I just say, wherever these people are, Father bless them. Father prosper them. Father do for them what I cannot do. It was just mere belts. But because they follow the ministry. So whenever I just would tell them, and eventually, because of time, some of them now migrated to the demon side. And I saw them and said, I remember you. I remember, and I've been praying for you. Can you imagine? And that is something about when you make it your, whether your pastor has much or not, and God has placed in your heart, let him be minister of taking care of the pastor. Do it. Whether he has millions. For some of us, it's some blessed people. You have seen someone that is looking weak. Maybe just what God is laying on your heart to bring something out, to come and bless that person. It doesn't have to be that you have all rice stacked in your house. It can just be from even little that you have. You bring and say, this is for you. I'm not doing it for the church to know, but I'm blessing you because, it's a ministry that I want to do. You don't have to wait. It's some of the things I don't understand. How are you working for God? Encouraging people. Some of you, you just have to, there wasn't this magic, what's wrong with you? Blah, 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 blah. And then just encourage the person. Today I had to call somebody whose leg is broken and has been in pain, is trying to get better. And said that somebody came to come and help her to do the bone. The local people came to stretch the bone, and then she's in intense pain. But by the time I finished with her, she was laughing so worried. She was laughing so. I said, thank you. Thank you for making me laugh. I said, that's it. He said, the best medicine is sleep and laughter. The best medicine. That's why no matter how much of the medicine gives you, eventually you sleep. The best medicine is sleep and laughter. That's your ministry. You need to understand. You don't have to compare. Go for what God has laid it in your heart to be. Now, the next one. Verse 29. Christ is instructing us in verse 29. Verse 29. Verse 29. Verse 29. Say, for unto everyone, and I want to see it, the heart shall be given, and it shall have abundance. Oh, see you. I want to see something that everybody see you. And I want us to read together. What does it say? For unto everyone the heart shall be given, and it shall have abundance. Did he say unto everyone that has 10? Huh? Did he say everyone that has 10? Or everyone that has 2? Or everyone that has 5? Or everyone that has 1? So everyone that has, even if it's a small one, he said what? Shall, everyone that has shall be given. Everyone that has, and it shall have abundance. So, in essence, Christ is saying, write it down, that your potential is, the potential of your gifting is unlimited. Write it down. The potential of your gifting, is unlimited. It's unlimited. And some of us don't understand. One woman, I know that someone had another woman, she came to one of our programs at the university there. Her husband was so broke, he lost job, there was no job for the husband, and the woman too was so broke. And so because it was a loving family, close-knit family, and so the woman knew that the husband was not lying. So what did she do when the last 1,000 naira that the husband had, she gave it to the woman, and the woman said that, she knew that she had to feed her family with that 1,000, and she didn't know how to do it, but she was just asking because she knew that her husband did not have. So going back to him to ask, like, it's going to just unnecessary tension in the house. And so he sat down. He said, what eventually came to her mind was the fact that she should go and buy beans with that 1,000 naira. And said, so he said she understood what the police was telling her. So she went and bought beans. So when she bought beans, he said she now started doing different type of things with beans. Sometimes she cook beans. And children would use it to eat like garri. Sometimes she would do momo. Sometimes she would do akara. Sometimes, so it was like the children were eating the same thing, but different flavor of it. And that was why they were able to stretch. But you know what happened? The market. He said the day she made momo, her sister-in-law came around, and they didn't know that brother was going through that. So she, of course, as a little wife, from the moment that she married, served the sister-in-law. The sister-in-law finished the moment, asked for extra. She couldn't tell them that Emma Kubawa. So she gave the sister-in-law the whatever. That one took home. When she took that woman home, the mother-in-law was giving. And the mother-in-law told her that the next time the sister-in-law was coming, you should make sure that she sent woman to her too. So that day, because of shame, when sister-in-law came, she went and looked for extra to make some moment to give the mother-in-law. So the mother-in-law had moment, the sister-in-law had moment. The sister-in-law took some of her moment to work. And the people at work tasted of the sister-in-law's moment. They started asking for moment. And that's how she said, it's my sister-in-law that made it. And do you want to, so she called. Do you want to sell? Because they're asking for the moment. To call it long story short, that was how that woman started moment business. It's unlimited. And guess what? Out of that moment business, started doing party moment. And then there was a course for women that was sponsored by World Bank. With us, you pay 10% as a woman, and the whole bank will pay 90% as like a what have you. So she came for that course. And it was because she pitched that I'm a moment maker and I'm as a woman, I don't mind how to expand to know my to have knowledge. So they employed that. And she became like a star to the extent that the same World Bank decided to sponsor her to Washington. So, yes,
Out of our land.
out of her luck, they sponsored her to Washington for a Global Women Conference of Women Entrepreneurs. And that was attended by Michelle Obama. She tasted the moment and decided that there are one initiative for women that she has been planning, and that same woman will come to White House and come and show other women about the initiative. So from one Bagada, out of luck, out of creativity, see, Strive, the owner of Econet, one of the richest persons in Africa today, started in a church, started a ministry, just like these guys are fiddling with these things, being there, knowing the moderation, frequency, and what have you. That was how he led the owner of Econet. Some of you have heard Econet. That was how he went into it because he went to that course to go and learn more about it. And you see, the point is that don't take it for granted that you're working for God. Sometimes when I finish it, I'll be a pastor in school. Because whether you like it or not, the opportunity to do to minister has sharpened my skill for communication. It's unlimited. So I was saying, look, so everyone, our hearts shall be healed. Time will not permit me. Let me do the last one. And as 21 to 23, 21 to 23, as you close, as 21 to 23, 21 to 23. It says, the Lord said unto him, very well done, good and faithful servants. And I'll make you, the faithful of few things, I'll make you ruler over many things. Go to 22. When we say the two also came and gained two other. And then 23, what he said, told them the same thing. I'll make you ruler over many things. Now the final thing what you do that. Write down. Seek to do few things well than managing a lot of things badly. Write it down. Seek to do few things well. Seek to do few things well. Don't be, I was up and down, going to and fro. And I forgot what the business master gave you. Seek to do few things well. Seek to do few things well than to manage a lot of things badly. Seek to do few things well. Concentrate. Be deliberate. That's ministry. That's ministry. Maybe you don't understand. One of the worst punishment you can give somebody that has made people to confess even what they didn't do is very simple, very simple, very simple punishment. And you know the punishment? In the prisoner, particularly prisoner of war, they will scrape their head like Babylon there. They will scrape their head, scrape the guy's head. When they have scraped the head very well, they will then put the guy under dripping water, not rushing water, dripping water like a tap, like drip, tam, 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 tam. But they will make sure that the guy's head cannot move. So that water will be dripping one by one, one by one. At first, it will look normal, But after a while, each drop will be like a hammer to that head. And the guy will be shouting, can you please release it? I'm so sorry, maybe you have to do this the next time. The guy will be shouting, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Because as at that point in time, that constant drop has become so heavy on that skull that it needs protection. It needs whatever it wants, I'll give to you. That's when you concentrate. When you make sure that what you're doing for God, you are consistent with it. You might not think much about it, but that's a way of galvanizing, becoming bigger, becoming better, you are becoming more into what God wants you to become. And at the end of the day, you say, look, God, I had the talent. Even though it was 2, I used it well. Even though it was 5, I used it well. Even though it was 1 you gave me, according to my ability, I used it well. That's what Christ is saying. Put your ministry in focus. Put your ministry in focus. In closing, write these verses down. 1 Corinthians 12, verse 7. 1 Corinthians 12, verse 7. For the manifestation of the Spirit is given to every man to profit withal. That's what when you do your ministry, God says you will profit from it. Isaiah 45 verse 19 says, I have not called the house of Jacob to seek me in vain. Isaiah 45 verse 19, write it down. Isaiah 45 verse 19 says, I have not called you to seek me in vain. I will bless you when you walk for me. Galatians chapter 6 verse 7 says, God is not mocked. Galatians 6 verse 7. God is not mocked. Whatever a man sows, what he reaps. Hebrews chapter 6 verse 10. Hebrews 6 verse 10. God will reward your labor of love. It says God will reward your labor of love. Hebrews verse 6 verse 10. Psalm 126 verse 6. Those who go out bearing precious seed shall doubtless. Doubtless. The trust is yours. My brother, my sister, the trust is yours. You could do what you want to do, but God is not mocked. And I pray that sincerely you will serve God. So that your time before God will not be wasted time. You will commit to the works of God. I want to bow your head and talk to God this night. I just ask God, I don't want to do it in vain, I want to do it in your love. And for those of us who have not been consistent with God, it's a good time to say, God, I'm sorry. I'm sorry for taking it for granted. You don't know how long you have to live, my brother. You don't know how long you have the opportunity. But ask God, Father. I'm sorry. And I want to redeem the time. I want to go and serve you more. Talk to God tonight. Brethren, talk to God tonight. Open your spirit and talk to God. Thank you, Holy Spirit. Just say, God, use me, Father. Use me, Father. Mold me and make me after your will while I'm just waiting. Father, mold me. The Bible says, can the pot tell the potter, or can the clay tell the potter what to do? It's impossible. Just surrender to God. Your time, your availability, your mind, your soul, serve God. Tell God I'm ready. I've heard your word tonight. I'm repenting. Every opportunity I have, I will serve you. I will seek you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Holy Spirit. Father, we thank you tonight as your people have heard your word tonight. And have repented where they have been lagging behind, where they have been slothful, where they have been wicked in their acts towards you. Father, tonight we ask that your grace will overrule mercy. Your mercy will overrule judgment, Father. That in every sense, you will be our God. You will showcase us for moving forward. We will not come back lower. We shall move forward. The word says when we have put our hands on the plow and we look back, we are not worthy of the calling. Father, we are saying that today we shall not look back. The hands that are on the plow shall be on the plow. We shall move it forward. We shall do the needful. Thank you, Father, because henceforth our empowerment shall come from you. You will vindicate us. You will protect us. You will enlarge us. Thank you, Holy Spirit. In Jesus' mighty name we pray. Amen. Thank you, Father. Thank you. Thank you. This will thank you once again. I put the oil of separation on the head of everyone here. And indeed, they shall be separated out of the works. Amen. We will come back better. Amen. In Jesus' mighty name we pray. Amen. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Before we go, I just want to just use about 1 or 2 minutes or 2 minutes. If there's any question you want to ask, even if you can answer it today, I can answer it. I just prepare it for next week. But any question, any clarification you want to have from what I've said so far, any clarification, any question you have, maybe you have something I want to ask about work or working for God from last week and today. If you don't have it now, you want to ask, you are always free to send the questions to me or give it to Colonel, and then you can come here and trash it as well. Because it's, yes, sir.
Also, permit me to ask this question. It's not particularly relating to what was taught today or last week, but it's something that has actually over time attract. It's something that has actually over time agitated my mind. What is the scriptural or spiritual expectations from Christians, especially as it relates to covering of hair? Is it something that is doctrinal, in other words, a doctrine that people don't do or churches practice, or it is something that is scriptural? Even if it's not in this meeting, please, when time permits you, I would like to have a better understanding of
Let me
that.
just give you an upper. Here in Nigeria, for instance, I remember there are days when I've been to a prayer meeting, or even churches, you have to pull off the cap as a man. As a man, you have to pull off the cap. Now, I've been to Israel a couple of times, and as a man, when you enter the temple in Israel, you must have a cap. You must have, in fact, I have it, and because you have to put it, a skull cap, you must put it back. There are places where that skull cap is free, it's basically valid. They just put it back because it's like a requirement before you step. In fact, particularly before that wedding war, there's a lot of white caps there that just you must put a skull cap. But here they will tell you that it's wrong to have a cap on your head. So sometimes it's cultural, and sometimes it has a tinge of spiritual. Now, if you look at, I think it's Timothy, where you talk about your hair, with your covering and what have you. Culturally, you find that what I've noticed is that yes, amongst the Jews, amongst the Arabs, they cover their head out of out of the cultural thing, because the way they have to cover is an expression of respectability and what have you. So you can say from that cultural perspective, let me give you what I'm trying to say. Because sometimes you find that culture also has entered into religion. I'll give you an example. The if somebody dies in Saudi Arabia or dies in the Arab world, because even in Israel too, because of the humility, because of his coaching son and everything, you cannot, and you don't really, in those days, you don't have nice look, you don't have anything. So the best thing is to bury the person. Probably just to bury the person, instead can embalm the person, to bury the person, and so that there's no. Now, that was how it was in those days, so that it has not become a culture that goes according to Islamic right. It was according to the culture there. Now take it to the European world, where if you die during the winter, uh, they can't bury you because the ground is all ice. And besides, the body will not rot because the ice will make the body stay there. So they can afford to be 4 months until when they bury you because of his winter. You understand me? So what do we do in this part where we have Christianity? We have mortuaries that freezes people up and says, that is how we Christians do it. So there's the intrusion of culture, orientation, and things like that. But for the covering of hair, yes, because sometimes we can say that because of the woman's, why do you say the woman? You tend to have more restriction on the woman because why? Because of the fact that maybe because of their sculpture, the way they are sculpted and what have you, can be distraction, whatever. But really, it's not because that is a scriptural thing. Just a woman should be very sure that you don't make yourself loud. You also your hair, if your covering is actually your hair is your covering, as it were. But maybe because it has become like you can do your hair like this, it becomes a distraction in church, you can do your hair like that. Okay, cover the hair. The same way for me, you said people to close their eyes. To close their eyes for prayers. It's not the closing of eyes. But why do you say people to close their eyes? It's because of distractions that will come attendant to opening your eyes. You're supposed to you have your gaze, spiritual eyes better to God when you are praying. But so if you close your eyes, it becomes like it's so easy to go that direction. Are you getting me? But if you open your eyes, it doesn't mean that your prayer will not be answered. In fact, somebody told me one that as a minister, you should not close your eyes because you don't know demons can enter somebody come and slap you on the pulpit. you should not close your eyes. But I think Pastor Matthew has talked about this before, and it's like, look, it's a matter of more than scripture. It's a matter of doctrinal interpretation. Hair is enough as a covering for a woman's hair because she's not shorn, her head is not bald, it's yes. But even nowadays, you have women I think it's even their style now, women even like to cut the hair. So you can say, okay, in that sense, because you cut your hair, maybe because of that you have the scarf on. But what the Bible says, what I've read in the Bible, my own Christian with the is that once your hair is there, it's your glory, that's a covering. But culture can say, okay, cover it more, see how it cover. And people have done that. I mean, some churches, you dare not. In fact, they will give you scarf from the door. As you are entering, they give you scarf. Don't come and spoil a prayer here. And in some churches, before you enter, in fact, when you have a car, they will be telling you, remove it. Okay. Now I'm just saying because you understand the Bible point. But next time when I come, I will give you more Bible detail. I will say this. There was a time when I went to, and then just it's not a post because I went to Deeper Life. And I was passing by Deeper Life at Bugada, and I saw they were doing something. Maybe was a retreat or whatever. So I said to join them, and people are singing, and let me join and also be part of it. Since the person I want to visit is not around yet, and I could worship. So I entered. Then that was days when we had Nika program, and doing Nika program, really, their program, remember those days when we have Nika, those half whatever. So I entered church, Deeper Life with that. So I sat down, and I was worshiping God. I just saw that Luke Usher just came to say that, brother, can I see you? Brother, can I see you? So I said, yes, sir. So I followed the brother. He said, you are from which of the policies? I said, no, I'm not the member of the group. I just came to worship. Okay, what's that? Just worship. That's how they kept me. They didn't allow me to go to church again. So after I just got, I said, who can touch this one? Even if I was a sinner, but at least so you can imagine, and these are doctrinal issues, which as of today, Pastor Kumi is saying that he made mistake about.
Yes.
He said, I'm sorry about that. Those were doctrinal issues. They were not scriptural. You know, I was not looking. I just like maybe your passion was not it. Yes, so that's one thing I have to understand. And that's where when it comes to worship of God, you have to be very careful about doctrines. You know, doctrine. I mean, remember we are Pentecostal today. Why? Because of Martin Luther, who says that the just shall live by faith. That word was to the church, early church, wrong. Listen, that's why we have Protestants and Puritans, we have Anglican, and all those numerous churches and whatever. So end of the day is like you have to understand. That's why the Bible should not be read, because of church alone. It should be read with the word of God, with the inspiration of the Holy Spirit. Let the rhema come out of it for you. Yeah? And that's what I'll say to you. Yeah? So some churches, that's why some other people today cannot say they want to go to churches like KRCC because they like, oh, they don't cover their head. And those who are covering their head, they are yeah, I don't want to I don't want to judge anyone, but it's just a matter of understanding. But I will go to deeper into scripture because of what you asked. I want to go more and do a trace of it to the deep time before what was problem of the air like before it came, because scripture is just like a woman's hair. Is that good? Are we blessed?
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much. So God bless. So bring your questions. If you have questions, it's an open Bible study. Even if I cannot answer today, I can always go back and answer. Shall we share the grace of fellowship? The grace of our Lord Jesus Christ, the love of God, and the sweet fellowship of God be with us now. And I want us to pray concerning our offering. And I want everyone in this room this morning, this night, to see the offering as a ministry. A ministry, sacrificial ministry. So just hold your offering in your hand and declare, surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in your house forever. I want to hold that offering. I want to hold it and declare it. Wherever you're at home, you are at home as well, hold your offering, whether you're doing by transfer, hold your phone and declare it and say, surely goodness and mercy shall be my portion all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of God forever and ever. Amen. God bless you. Have a wonderful night. And remember, on Friday we are at Maryland having a nice Pastor Martin from 6 o'clock to 8:30. Have a wonderful evening. God bless you all.